I want to start this video by firstly saying, if you enjoy the vibes, make sure you subscribe. I really do appreciate it. It does help the channel grow. It does help dust my channel in the algorithm. And with that being said, I have been enjoying Sparking Zero. I really have. But that's not to say I don't see where a lot of the complaints and a lot of the issues are coming from. The current state of Sparking Zero that I've been noticing, especially online on X / Twitter, has been the fact that there are smaller, mid, and even larger creators that are being affected by whatever low numbers. There are a multitude of people that are constantly complaining about lack of balancing, and it's like a constant war that's going on between the people that believe there should be balancing and then the OGs, or quote unquote OGs, right, that are saying, well, this is clearly a Tenkaichi feature, it's not supposed to be balanced, it's whatever, right? Everybody's complaining about something. There's a war internally with the community, and it just seems like there's a ton of discourse that's surrounded about the game, but everybody has generally the same consensus of the game is really good, it's really great, but there are some shortcomings that was promised that aren't in the game as of right now, and the story is very lacking. The current state of Sparking Zero is truly like, hey, you jump on the game, if it's your first time playing the game, you're gonna probably play some of the story, you're probably gonna summon Shenron or something depending on which version of the game you get, you're probably gonna jump onto a player or online match of some sort, whether that's tournament, ranked, whatever. You're probably going to be experimenting with all of the different modes that you possibly can. But when you start really getting in depth of the meat in the layers in this game, it's kind of just boiling down to online ranked. And I've mentioned this, and I've constantly been mentioning this in my previous streams, in my previous videos, but there was a specific video that I had mentioned that there were going to be problems, and I mentioned this like 5-6 months ago now. We are in a new generation of video games, so yes, as we do love the old style and the old genre and a new entry inside of an old series, there are sort of some modern elements that should be taken into account, right? When the original Sparking series came out and Sparking Zero, people kind of agreed initially, hey, this is like a party game, and this is a really cool style of a game for the Dragon Ball franchise, and it just works. 3D arena fighters just work for Dragon Ball games. You see Sparking Zero, you see the other Sparking games, and you see Xenoverse. They're all really successful as opposed to the counterparts of like the traditional 2D, 2.5D fighting games. Now, Fighters was extremely successful, it was, but Dragon Ball games have always like increasingly thrived inside of any 3D area space. Kakarot is not a 2D game, right? It's very 3D and animated, and at the core of the gameplay, it's still a 3D arena fighter. So my point is that is the general niche that Dragon Ball games thrive the most in, and every version of that always has something different that they're going on with. I know I ramble on and I go into tangents and I just say different stuff, but just stick with me here, okay? My point is that some of the stuff that we have seen in a lot of these newer titles, Xenoverse 2, Kakarot, whatever, they have taken stuff from the Tenkaichi series. Raging Blast, for example, they've taken stuff from the Tenkaichi series, from the previous Sparking games, and they've implemented it in different ways, in different formats, and whatever the case may be. Everybody's had their own interpretation while adding new stuff here and there. Sparking Zero has kind of taken a huge regress, and they've added a really nice coat of paint on everything, and it feels great, and it's a really well-selling game at the moment, and people are going to continue to play this for generations because we haven't gotten this in a very long time. And there are a lot of new things that they've added in the game. However, this is the first time that you're bringing the Sparking series into a modern era, and everybody in the modern era likes to make videos and likes to be competitive even more so than they were in the past, okay? Yes, I understand that people like to say, well, competitive nature of these games have always been there and it's always been made there under the party aspect of, yes, I get that, but double that, now triple it, quadruple it. It doesn't matter what number you're thinking in your head, you have to multiply that by so much to understand the current landscape of video games. Anytime a video game comes out, it's hardly ever somebody is going to be posting a video of just having fun on the game. It's always having fun while also being competitive. You want to be the best YouTuber, you want to be the best creator, you want to be the best fighter, you want to have the best look, you want to have the best speedrun time. Everything is based around this competitive notation of any video game, right? I had the best reaction, I had the best scares, this is my video of me having the best this. Like, that's always what everybody comes down to. And then when they're talking about the game in itself, right? Let's say it's not necessarily focused on quote unquote being the best of something. Oh, we're just gonna showcase the story mode of it. The general population of creators that are out here doing story-based stuff, they're still talking throughout their content about, oh, I'm gonna do this in the first time, or there's always some kind of competitive nature to it because we're humans. And above being humans, we want to be the best, not just for us, so people can watch us, because people like to watch people with big numbers. They like to watch other people that are really good at something because it helps them maybe feel inspired, or they have some level of trust in the larger number, the larger creator, whatever. And all of the people that are creating content around this game is based on being the best in some way, or showcasing a character or some way. Maybe you can find out new stuff like dialogue options, which that's been a lot of videos that have been popping off recently. Dialogue stuff and unique cutscenes and all of that, sparking episodes, because that wasn't shown off before. But you take away the ability of creators all around the world to create stuff on like special this with a character because they've already been shown off months before the game was released, which is not a massive complaint on my end. It's just, it is what it is. That's just the nature of everything YouTube. You're a bigger creator, you get exclusive rights into it. You would take the opportunity if it was you, right? So let's not be disingenuous and complain about other creators having that ability to do that, because you would take those opportunities so you could grow, or you could get a momentary boost in monetization of some sort. You know, that's what we do it for. At the end of the day, we do love to create videos for the sake of just creating videos. I know I do, but I'll complain any day about not making money from something. My point is that when you're trying to revise a series that hasn't had an entry in 17 years, you're going to see the impact of the modern society. And no matter what you tell everybody, they're not going to change. They're not going to just automatically morph into, well, we understand this is a game from the past. Nobody is doing that. Unfortunately, it's a very minuscule, a very minority people that have a loud voice. We have YouTube channels, we make noise about complaints and things and issues, and it doesn't get fixed, or it's just overlooked because, again, we're the minority. Now, I say all this to say the issue that we're running into with Sparking Zero is people are going to be competitive. They're going to take this as a competitive game. Even if the developers didn't want it to be a competitive game, it's going to be competitive. And that's the scene that you have. So not having balancing in the game, although anime accurate, is going to lead to a bunch of complaints on this side. Not having these other things in the game that you promise, like customization items and changing auras, like you're bringing back something from the past, right? So the natural mindset of people is going to be progressiveness. Although you have added a bunch of characters from Dragon Ball Super, a lot of people are still saying, where are all of our characters from the previous games, right? So you're still missing stuff. Where are our previous features? A lot of Sparking Zero feels like what Naruto Storm Connections should have been, right? Naruto Storm Connections came out and it was supposed to be the celebration of all of the Storm games, as well as an anniversary to the Naruto franchise as a whole. Sparking Zero feels like that. It feels like Akira Toriyama passed, and we have a new anime coming out with Daima, and we're gonna create a platform for nostalgia by repurposing a game that hasn't seen the light of day in 17 years. Anything official anyways. The mod community has always gone out of their way to do whatever it is that they could to keep the game alive with the Tenkaichi 4 mods and all these custom things, right? Which, while I'm on that subject, custom battles is, I think custom battles are horrible compared to how they were advertised. I think that there is tons of potential to do good stuff in there. Even when you pull it off, a lot of it still feels hollow because of the lack of true openness with your dialogue options and scene creations. So it still feels like broken up, but there are some really great ones out there. That's not to say it's not a great thing. I just don't like it. I thought it was going to be much better than what it is that we've gotten. And after I've sat and thought about it for a while, it's not good to me. And you know, this is all my opinion, right? So who am I? I'm just a guy on the internet that's going to get 50 views on this video. Maybe not even that, like 30 or 40. So for anybody that watches this, if you agree, then let me know. If you don't, whatever, right? So the game is starting to not feel as fun. And that's mainly due to the scummy bullshit nature of human beings. We do anything and everything to be number one, and you have these strong characters that don't have balance in them, and that's just the nature of the game, right? The nature of the game is this is what it is, and that's, people are going to only play this, and then people are going to tell you to outplay this character, or whatever the case may be. But it just boils down to not being fun. You know, they say join them, just do this, whatever, and it's just a toxic mentality. If somebody's complaining about stuff in a community, the default answer shouldn't be, well, you can play as those same characters. The point is that we don't want to play as those same characters. We want to play as the characters we want to play as and still have fun with them. And it's very difficult to have fun with them when the damage scaling is so bizarre. Not only is the damage scaling there, but on top of that, you have defense scaling. A lot of people don't talk about the defense scaling that's actually in the game. For example, if I was to use Kefla, which is a strong fusion, somewhat strong fusion, on a character like Yamcha, he is going to take maybe 10,000, 15,000 more damage from an ult or something than somebody else. That's using an extreme example. It's probably more closer to about 3,000 to 5,000, which that means it's going to be doing anywhere from another quarter to another half of a health bar, because each health bar, I believe, is 10,000 damage. So what that means is when you're playing as, let's say you want to play as Krillin and you want to play as Yamcha or Tien, you have to fight extra hard, or Yajirobe, you have to fight extra hard to do damage to somebody like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, where if you was fighting somebody that was maybe scaled down to your level or just all around more balanced, you would be doing a pretty decent amount of damage and they would do a decent amount of damage to you. Whereas you have the portion of, like, it's basically everybody's getting the Hercule treatment, because 2 Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and 2 people that are like Beerus and whoever else, but really the most common issue is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, because he hits fast and he does really big damage, right? And he doesn't take that much damage as well, and he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve to make him a really good character. Same thing for UI Goku, Full Power Jiren. You get the point. The Brolys, there's something that goes to them that is a little bit gimmicky, and it doesn't always feel like, hey, you know, that actually feels fun to go up against in an actual match. And I understand the other perspective of, well, it's a Tenkaichi game, it's not supposed to be this way. The point of a Tenkaichi game, though, is to have fun. And if you're bringing it online, it's hard to have fun when you incentivize everybody playing single battles, because not everybody likes team battles, but you're incentivizing everybody to play as busted characters because they can get an easier win with having less skill at the actual game. Even if the game itself isn't based around being actually skilled, because it's a party game, it's very flashy, but you have an abundance of defensive options and an abundance of attack options. So you technically still shape this game to be a competitive game, even if you're saying you didn't want it to be a competitive game. It's Dragon Ball. People are going to be competitive anyway, and this is the new generation, and you're putting out a Sparking Zero, you're putting out a Sparking game for the new generation. So you gotta adapt some form of the new generation style. We like online games, we like to play a lot, and we like ranked. We like to feel good about stuff that we're playing. Also, I forgot to say this, but this is something that I discussed inside of the video that I've been mentioning that I've made a few months ago, or a little over a few months ago. It's not really the direct fault of the nature of the game, but the fact that in today's current mediascape, everybody likes to create videos and create these damn metas. So it's always going to be, this is the meta to play, this is the best way to do this, the best way to play this, and it's just very annoying. And metas suck the soul out of a game. It sucks the joy out of figuring out stuff for yourself, and you just watch these damn things to just get better at stuff. But people don't care. You're gonna watch it anyway. I'm gonna complain about it. I'm just a minority, you know, whatever. From my skin tone to the things that I have interest in, I'm always gonna be the minority. We're not asking for egregious balancing, but at least make it feel like it's fun again to go up online, and you're not only running into rage quitters and running into people that are playing these busted characters and feel like there's almost no hope. Like, you have to be insanely good at the game. Now, I want you guys to take into account how many people you see online that are actually really good at the game versus the average experience. You got to always remember that when you're talking about something, you have to always account for the average. It's the same thing in business, right? You look at these higher numbers, you look at these things that look great in this margin room, but a lot of that margin is still averages, and the average player is not as skilled to take somebody like Yajirobe and beat Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Omega Shenron, Beerus. That's not the average experience, and you're incentivizing the average experience to play as these guys, these really incredibly strong characters, because you're gonna get an easier win. There are lots of exploits in this game to be used, and you're incentivizing people to do them just cause. And we live in the internet age where everything on the internet is toxic. I'm toxic at times. It's just the nature of internet. So the current state of Sparking Zero feels like everyone's just complaining about missing features. Everybody is complaining about the current state of online play, and you know, we're all kind of just getting tired of get good, cry about it later, you can join them, play these characters, boo-hoo. Like, that's not the fucking point. It's just not the fucking point. But maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. That's what I've been observing. They're getting lower views, and I'm not talking about just my channel. I'm talking about larger creators like Globeku. We're all getting lower views because people don't want to watch it. I've been seeing a lot. People don't want to watch it. It doesn't look fun to watch. And because when they're watching it, they're seeing Snap Vanish Wars. They're seeing the same characters. Nobody's playing new characters. Nobody's making new scenarios. And the custom battles, some people are interested, but a lot of people aren't. So that is telling. A lot of people aren't because it's not what was advertised, not entirely, you know. And just so you guys can use like half a brain cell, because I know there are going to be people out there that say, well, people like Afro get views all the time, or people like Rhyme Style get views all the time. Like, I get it, but those people that are going and flocking to those videos aren't there because they're playing Sparking Zero. They're there because they appreciate their content. They like those creators. They're fans of those creators. They're going to be there regardless of what they post. Plus, they're getting the residual from the people that are interested in Sparking Zero. I'm not saying there's zero interest in Sparking Zero and that there are no views at all. I'm saying there are lower than what was expected views on this, not for people just like me, but for people of all sizes in the creation space. But the people that are thriving the most are there because either mods, or because they're doing how-tos, or they are literally just standalone creators that have a really good community that support them regardless. So everybody's just making tutorial videos. Everybody's making how-to videos. Nobody cares about the gameplay. It's just funner when you play for yourself. So it's just telling. You can see that the community is getting bored and dying down. Although the numbers are larger, a lot of people like to play the game. A lot of people also don't. And I feel like it's more people that don't than the people that do. Because the people that do play the game, they're kind of just ruining it for the people that actually really, really want to play the game, if that makes sense. I probably jumbled my words up and said that really weird, but it is what it is. Maybe somebody can explain better in the comments. I don't know. I like to express myself, and I think my videos are pretty good. And I think I'm pretty okay at expressing myself and articulating certain points from not just my perspective, but multiple people's perspectives. And I genuinely think that the main issue that Sparking Zero is going to face going forward is you're just doing the same thing over and over and over. And it's not like, oh, I'm getting into a game and I'm fighting against this character. I guess you can do the same thing as in play online matches over and over and over and just love the game. The issue you're going to run into is just the same characters. You know, you can look at a game like the Storm series and have really strong characters, and they're really strong in their own regards, but there's still some level of balancing, and I just think it's not held up to modern standards. You know, like, the game isn't bad. I'm not saying the game is bad. I'm saying that the online experience is very poor, and outside of the online experience, there's really not much else that you have in the game because the story is very lacking. Like, it's a party game made in this generation. You do understand that this generation of people outside of content creators, this generation of gamers, they're not inviting friends over. It's all online. A lot of people aren't just inviting friends over to play the game in person. A lot of people are inviting them online. And sometimes the online experience is really bad because of the servers. And then you have the fact that it's not crossplay. So you have no crossplay, and then the server is having an issue, which can be patched as easy, right? And then you have like an online experience of people like to play against other people and their friends. And let's say, okay, you use the thing of, well, if all they want to do is play with their friends, just keep inviting your friends. We get that. But nobody's always just wanting to play with their friends. Literally no human on earth. It's just, I'm just always going to be wanting to play with my friends. You want to experience the game and see what the rest of the world has to offer. You might meet new friends by playing the game. But if your online experience is kind of trumped by, well, it's mundane. You're just going against the same things back to back to back back. Yes, again, you can counter it. You can do this. The point is I'm speaking from the perspective of the average player. Am I still enjoying the game? As I've said, yes, I'm still enjoying the game. I'm still going to enjoy the game. But I'm not the average. I'm just not. I'm competitive by nature. So if I see you playing these really busted characters, I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to get annoyed. I'm going to try to do whatever I can to punish. But it does get annoying. I can be annoyed with something but still enjoy it. Just like any human being. You can be annoyed with anything and still enjoy it. And most of the time when you hear people criticize stuff, it's because they enjoy it. But the internet has like 0 brain cells. It just doesn't. It is what it is. Saying I'm negative, I don't care. People try to discredit my opinions on stuff by just saying, well, you're negative or you don't get it and you're not speaking for anybody. I am. Because I can go online and just look everywhere and see the complaints. I can go in person and hear the complaints. And it's telling that people don't like to watch Sparking Zero content because it's the same shit. Switch it up, add the characters that you need to add in, add the features that you need to add in, and it's no harm in doing some form of balancing. It can still be Tenkaichi. The same way that the Storm series was still very, very fun. You had characters like Madara that was insanely snapped, but still felt pretty balanced when you're playing against other characters in the game. You know, the way that they nerfed certain characters are slower than others. Some have bigger impacts. Like, there's just ways to do it and still make it feel like this really awesome game that we had back in the past. And that's just from the perspective of an average person. Game is still good. It's still great. But I've noticed the shortcomings. My biggest issues personally, bro, give me my custom auras. I miss those. I miss having Goku just always have like the red aura just cause. So that's just my perspective. I've always loved the customability of the older titles, and it's just not in this game. But that's just what I think. So you know, like always, you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Peace.
I never felt like I never felt like